Howdy gamers, Old Gamer Guy here. Welcome to another Endzone, a world apart video. We are making our way through the tutorials. There's actually one long main tutorial that encompasses everything, but I thought it would be better to break things up into these individual tutorials, and so we did the water tutorial in the last video, and I'll put a link to that if you want to see it. But this tutorial is all about food. Water's very important, I think we can all agree, but so is food. This guy speaking here actually has a voiceover. There is a voice actor doing these lines, but I went ahead and turned that volume all the way down just in the interest of saving some time in these videos. And the first thing that he wants us to do is set up an area for gathering food. This is like, it reminds me of another game called Dawn of Man, where you can set up areas for just a general activity like gathering food or fishing. But in this instance, we are gathering plants, and you can see the available plants within the activity area. So I'm going to set up my gathering area right here in the middle of all that. And we are successful. We now can gather plants. But now we need a gatherer's cabin. So we hit L2 to bring up this construction menu, and then we hit R1 and L1 to go to the correct category. And now we can choose a spot for our gatherer's cabin. You can see the area of activity is quite a bit larger. And I'm agonizing over the placement of our gatherer's cabin. I often agonize over the placement of various buildings, and then when I am watching this pre-recorded footage and I'm recording these voiceovers, I think, why did I do that? Why did I put that building right there? It makes no damn sense. It would have been better over here, but that's all right. It's just a tutorial and kind of a self-contained tutorial, so I'm not really trying to do other things that will prolong this colony. I'm just trying to complete the tasks that are given to me. And here I am prioritizing the building of this structure, but I'm not sure that actually does any good because I don't have other structures that are waiting to be built. So I'm not sure what I just did there had any effect whatsoever, but that's all right. That's kind of a staple of my gaming, as you will know if you watch my channel. And now we have assigned one person to be a gatherer, and we have completed the task. Very exciting. Now we have food. We're gathering mushrooms and berries. Hopefully we'll find some special mushrooms along the way. But this tutorial is a lot like the water tutorial in that there are multiple ways to gather food. And so we're going to be looking at different ways that we can obtain food. And the next thing they want us to do is to build a fishing hut. So we'll go over here. I had a hard time deciding where to put my fishing hut, so we'll fast forward through that. But I ended up putting it here on the lake, and it says efficiency 80%. So that's not the greatest, but it's not terrible. So I'm just going to leave that here and wait for this to be built. It won't It won't take a long time to happen. In the meantime, my people will go about their business, their post-apocalyptic business. But there we go. Now we have a fishing hut, and we need to assign one person to actually fish. And there we go. So now we have fish available in the colony. Hopefully, eventually, we can have fish sandwiches and fish tacos and things like that. But we need a little more variety in our diet, so the next thing we need to build is some farmland. So down in the bottom center of the screen, you can see that time is paused, but if you hit L1 and R1, you can go back and forth between the management of time and the management of the map. So you can bring up, well, if you have the time aspect of it highlighted, then the digital pad left and right will cycle through having the game paused and then running at different speeds. And if you have it on the map mode, then the digital pad will cycle through the different views of the map. So for this building, we need to look at the moisture in the soil. Soul? A very moist soil. No, the moisture in the soil. So we need to set up a cultivated field, and you can kind of draw that on the grid. I'm just going to set up a 10 by 10 cultivated field here. And now we need to assign somebody to be a farmer. So there we go. Now we have a farmer. And now we need to tell our farmer what they are going to be growing. So for each field, you can choose the type of seed that will be planted. So we can go down here. We've only got a couple available, wheat and tomato. I'm going to go ahead and grow some tomato in this field here. I had a 50-50 chance of choosing the right thing there, and I think we can all agree, if you watch my channel, you can agree that I probably chose the wrong thing, but never mind that. We're just trying to get through this tutorial, and now they want us to build an orchard. The UI in this game feels pretty good, by the way. I'm having a fairly easy time with it, even though in this footage I had a few beers, in the interest of full disclosure. But we are going to set up another 10 by 10 space to be an orchard right next to our field, and there you can see me kind of scrolling through some of the map options. You can look at electricity usage and radiation and moisture in the soil, and I'm not really sure what else. I haven't looked at it a whole lot, but you've got a few options to scroll through, just like you do with a game like Stellaris, where you can have the map display different information. But here we have our orchard field. We have assigned someone to be a farmer on this field. And now we need to choose a type of tree, and we will grow some cherry trees. Hopefully that will keep everybody happy. Everybody loves cherries. We can have some cherries in our cocktails. I'm sure there's a bar. If there's not a bar, I'm sure there will be a bar soon, because we are human beings. And human beings do what human beings do. But now we are building a hunting lodge, and once again I have trouble deciding where to put it. I put it over here, but now I'm looking at it going, why did I put that there? Why did I not put that right in the middle of all those trees like I did the gatherer's cabin? That would have been a better place for this building, and then the gatherer's cabin could have gone somewhere else. But never mind that. Now we're just waiting for this thing to be constructed. And there it goes. So now we've got a hunting lodge, and we can assign someone to be a hunter. So now they will go out and hunt for food. But animals can not only be shot, they can be captured. So we can set our hunting lodge and we can put it into a capture mode. So I guess you could do that with each lodge if you wanted to. And if you build a pasture, then you have a place to put the wild animals that you have captured, and you can keep them as livestock. So they want us to build a pasture next, which is kind of a large space, but it fits pretty well right in here. You can move the cursor around with the analog stick. I think it's the left analog stick, but then you can hold R2 to do some fine tuning of your movement. So, it moves faster if you're not holding R2. But now we are waiting for our pasture to be constructed. You wouldn't think that, well, I guess the fence could take a while. And we do have a little bit of a building there. So it takes a little while to build this thing, but not too long. Now we will assign a worker to be a herder. Not a hoarder, but a herder. I suppose we might unlock hoarder technology a little bit later in the game. But right now we need a herder to work in the pasture. And the game is not exactly very clear about this, but you kind of have to wait and let time pass, because if you remember, I set the hunter to capture animals instead of hunting them. And then I built this pasture, but to actually choose what you want in the pasture, you have to wait for the hunter to capture something. And the game is not exactly super clear about that, but eventually I figured it out. And I waited a little while and then checked the pasture again. And apparently we have captured a couple of roe deer. So I can set the pasture to be used for roe deer. I don't know if there was some kind of a visual thing that I missed that would have told me that the hunter had captured something. Maybe one of those numbers at the top of the screen. I'm not really sure. But either way, with my big brain, I figured it out. And so, yeah, we've been building all these various ways to gather food, but now we need a kitchen to cook it up and make a Denver omelet out of all of it. A Rooty Tooty fresh and fruity. So let's go ahead and put the kitchen over here, that kind of close to where our people are sleeping. And then they will have a nice restaurant in the area, and property values will go up. Taxes will go up. Complaining will go up. And that's kind of the story of the human race right there so far, just in summary. But I guess actually we're not really building a restaurant here. We're building a kitchen where food will be cooked, and we need to assign somebody to be a cook. But this is not where the citizens will be going to get that food. Just like in the water tutorial, we had a lot of different ways to gather water, but when our citizens wanted water, they would go to this one little building that was like a water dispensary sort of a place, and now we need an equivalent for food. So it's not exactly a food truck, but it's not a restaurant either. It's kind of a walk-up little food kiosk where we can get our post-apocalyptic nachos and things of that nature. And I decided to put it over here, and then almost immediately thought, what the hell was I thinking? But I decided to put it over here. And now we will wait a little bit for that to be constructed. Time is passing. Life is happening. And there we go. Now we need to assign a worker. Just like with the water station, they are called a logistician. And now our food station is up and running. So now I think our last task in this tutorial is just to wait and generate 1,000 food. And you can see there in the lower right hand corner it is climbing fairly quickly. I'm just kind of looking around the map. I don't know what any of this stuff means over here yet. I'm sure we'll find out in another tutorial. But the viability of our colony is clear because we are generating a good amount of food. And that will do it for this tutorial. So hopefully these videos are entertaining and informative to watch, and you can kind of see what's up with this game and whether you might want to buy it. Next we will move on to the confidence tutorial, but for now, as always, thanks very much for watching.